Welcome to Build Stuff. BS features products and processes used in the crafting of custom motorcycles. BS also highlights builders' projects to share ideas and inspire others. Build Stuff episodes aren't scheduled, so don't forget to subscribe to Speed and Color, then turn on notifications so you don't miss any BS.
Hey there, how you doing? Welcome back to Build Stuff. So, making good progress on the XS650 here, having fun with it. It's going pretty well. As you can probably see there, the big bike is detailed and ready to go for this season, and it's off the lift now, so I was able to get the XS650 on the lift, which is really cool because it allows us to do some things that we haven't been able to do with it on the floor. We got to do some welding down low here that's going to be really nice to do with it up in the air. So all good. We're making good progress. I wanted to update you on a couple of things here. There were some Instagram posts and I did a couple shorts on this stuff. But the exhaust system. So this is the first exhaust system I've ever done. Enjoyed the heck out of doing it. Really good stuff. And pretty happy with the results. I learned a ton doing this. You know, with the help of Alfred, we were able to get this lined up. Tim gave us a hand too to make sure we had this just right. Most of the welds are pretty darn good. I did a lot of grinding on this. I will tell you, I think if you watched the shorts or anything, you saw my multi-tool belt grinder or belt sander. I don't know what you'd want to call it. But that tool, man, I've owned that for years. That thing is the bomb. I love that thing. And I think I'm going to do a Speed and Color episode on it. I'm going to do a little longer version just on the multi-tool because I think it's worth knowing about. I think it's worth seeing. But anyway, that's what really made the difference on this exhaust. I do have to finish up the curves at the front here. Unfortunately, the outside I can do on the multi-tool, but the inside here I'm going to have to do on the hand sander and get this inside cleaned all up. I believe what we're going to do here next. Oh, and I should just tell you, I learned a lot. You know, guys who do all those slices, if you will, do the little sections to make corners and everything. Man, that's cool stuff. That's really cool stuff. And that's something I'll do more. This one worked out that, most of the joints, most of the corners weren't that bad. It came together pretty nice. And yeah, okay, they could be smoother in spots, a better turn, a better radius, whatever. But let's be honest. All you're doing is pushing exhaust gas through it. This is not a high performance race engine or anything. This is going to be just fine. So the welds turned out really nice. The grinding went really well. Is it perfect? No, there's some dips and stuff. Am I going to chrome it? I am. I'm going to go ahead and chrome it. We'll see what it looks like in chrome. I think it's going to be okay. Am I going to be super happy with it? Probably not, because I'm usually not super happy with very many things. But I think I'm going to be happy enough with it, and I think it's going to look pretty good. What are the options to chrome? If I had this to do again, I think I might try and do it in stainless. Stainless is certainly a great choice for doing this kind of stuff. Stainless as well, you can polish up so you can get a real nice finished look. I don't really want to do them black. I do not want to do a header wrap or exhaust wrap on them. It's just not what I want to do on this bike. So I think I'll go ahead with chrome. from 10 feet away, I think it's going to look spectacular. And you know what, most people, they're not going to understand what they're looking at anyway, so it'll probably be fine. That's what we're doing there. I should tell you, so that you know, the way I did the tips on this, these were a lot of fun. This worked out really well. What we did is, once we had the pipes finished back to, you know, 3/4 length or whatever, we lined everything up, and we got out the oops, hold on, I'm knocking things down here. We got out the angle finders, whatever those things are. We got the angle of the pipe, and we got the angle of the frame here, and we figured out the difference. What we came up with was what this bend needed to be to match the frame angle. And that's what we did here. So I took it to an exhaust shop. I got some material, same material that TC Bros uses in the kit. And this is a TC Bros kit other than the tips. Took it to an exhaust shop. Unfortunately, they couldn't do mandrel bends. I'm finding out that mandrel bends are kind of hard to get done these days, especially in Calgary. So they went ahead and did it with the little bit of a dip that you get when you bend the pipe. This 27 degrees is what I asked them to do, and it worked out really, really nice. This matched up. So then when I ground it, and I ground up to that dimple or dip that you get in the pipe, it kind of tied this in. It doesn't look so bad now. I like the opening. I like the way it worked out. We staggered them. Good. That worked out fine. The only thing we have left to do here, well, I've got some cleaning and polishing to do before we take them to the chrome shop. But the other thing we're going to do is we're going to weld a couple bungs, one on each pipe on the back, just a radius 5/16 threaded bung on the back. And we'll line those up with a mounting point. And most likely, I'm going to use one of the bolts on the rear motor mount if I have to run an arm out. So we've been talking about this, and feeling is, if these two are tied together, it's going to really reduce the vibration. The pipes on their own will vibrate like hell. Once they're tied together, we're thinking it's not going to be too bad. I hate vibration. I don't like stuff cracking, and anyway. So to avoid that kind of situation, we're going to put a bung on the back side, and that'll go on first, and then we'll get the chroming done, and just make a little bar to tie those together. And then if I still have vibration, then I'm going to make a little bracket to go down to the motor mount and just tie it to the frame, and that should pretty much eliminate everything that way. That's the exhaust. That's how it went. Again, I'm really happy with it for a first effort. I don't think it's too bad at all, and looking forward to doing more of them. So another thing I wanted to show you is the rear fender. I've been playing around with this. You know, I mentioned in a previous episode, I think of Build Stuff, that the fender is good. I have no problem with it, and value for the money, yeah, I'm okay with it. But it does need a little bit of massaging. It does need some extra help. One thing they do making this fender is they run this strip, and I'm hoping you can see that. They run this strip down the center. This fender is made from two pieces. And that strip appears to be tack welded in several points along the way. And I think what they do is they use that strip to hold the two halves together to line them up. Then they go ahead on the top and probably TIG weld it, I would imagine. TIG weld it on the top, to make it one piece. But then they leave this strip in here. Oh, excuse me. And got looking at it, and I thought, you know, there's nothing keeping the moisture and stuff like that from getting under this strip. Painting it, yeah, you could seal it, but there's already stuff under there. There's already dirt and contaminants and stuff under there. Most likely, it's going to start rusting at some point. Take a long time to really produce a problem, but if it does rust and it starts to blister paint, and who knows, maybe at some point it would rust right through the top. I don't know. This strip, I thought, you know what, it's really not, now that the fender's welded, it's really not providing much in the way of strength or anything. And I figured the right thing to do is probably get rid of it. So I've started to grind it out down here, and this is, I'm just hitting it with a cutting wheel and looking for the seam, looking for the bottom, if you will, and it's coming off pretty nice. But you can also see, and hopefully I get this in the right spot, you can also see that there's already dirt and stuff under there, and it wouldn't take long for that to start to corrode. So getting it out of there, I think, is the right thing to do, and I'm going to work away at that and get that strip out of there. That's going to allow me to paint the underside of the fender, make it really nice. It'll be smooth. Not that anybody's looking under there, but it's going to be finished, and it's not going to rust, and it's not going to have issues. And you know, if you run your hand under there to clean it or to do something, you're not going to have to worry about slicing your finger open on the edge of that metal. So I think this is going to work out real nice, and I'll update you once I get further along. Down at this end of the fender, I've been working on this as well, and I've got a little more grinding to do. But this end of the fender, this what would you call this? It's not a flange, but where they bent the fender over, bent the metal over and put this edge in, beautiful. Beautiful. It's nicely done. The radius is good. Everything is good there. Really happy with the way they did that. Provides a lot of strength to the fender having that bent over. It's a decent edge to finish. It's decent to paint. You can get behind it with some paint, so you're going to get coverage down in there. That's all good. This is the front end. They didn't bend this over at all. They just finished it off straight. I'm fine with that. It's good and strong. No issues there. And at the front, it's not going to get into any trouble. At the back, though, they wanted to give it some additional strength and I guess just finish it off. So they had crimped this over. And that's an okay idea, except I'll put pictures in here because I did take pictures before I cleaned this up. The problem is, boy, there were some edges there. It was like it cut it with pinking shears. It had a serrated edge. Man, oh man, if you were ever under there with a rag trying to clean or anything, you would have ripped your hand wide open. It just wasn't very nice, and it wasn't crimped nicely. And I thought, you know, for the quality of the rest of this fender, that just really was lacking. So I trimmed it up with the grinder. I've left enough edge to give it strength or additional strength, but it's cleaned it up too. You know, the other thing with that being crimped right over was it wasn't super tight. It wasn't welded or anything. So again, moisture was going to get in there, mud, whatever you get into, was going to get packed in there. That was going to start it corroding. You wouldn't be able to paint it properly. It wasn't a good situation. So I've ground that away. I've got some more cleanup and maybe a little more hammer and dolly work to do on there. But we'll get that taken care of. We'll get it cleaned up. And that's going to give, that edge now, you can run your hand across it and there's no problem. And that's what I really wanted at the back. And this front edge is not bad. But at the back here, I wanted it nice so that nobody hurts themselves on that. Yeah, so we'll get that cleaned up. The other thing I was going to mention that this fender will need a little massaging is because it's two halves, it's not perfect. It's not perfectly aligned side to side. This side is slightly higher than this side. So I'm going to get it on the belt sander. I'm going to smooth this out as much as I can, and I think probably what this is going to need to finish it off is just a light wipe of Bondo or filler. I still call it Bondo. I'm an old guy. Just a light wipe just to put, it's probably, man, it wouldn't be much in there at all. 32nd of an inch probably is all there's going to be there. But it just to get it symmetrical, to get it smooth, the same radius all the way across. That's what it's going to take. So I'm going to do that. I'll keep you up to date on this, but so far so good. And like I say, not a bad fender, just fine. But for my purposes, need to massage it and just give it a little more finish than the way it came.